I want to play a game.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for those mortal serial killers that haunted our dreams in horror movies. Beware, heavy spoilers lie ahead.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
Number 10, Mark Lewis, Peeping Tom.
Someone coming towards you who wants to kill you, regardless of consequences.
The disturbing modus operandi of Mark Lewis in Peeping Tom was seriously ahead of its time for 1960. Indeed, the film was released around the same time as Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, yet this film from director Michael Powell received much more censorship and negative criticism.
It will never see you, Mark. Whatever I photograph, I always lose.
Lewis takes his voyeuristic tendencies beyond the pale in this film, murdering young women and filming the moments of their deaths. This killer's ultimate endgame is to construct the ultimate snuff film compilation, with the execution, pun intended, of Peeping Tom doing a scary good job of influencing the slasher movie genre.
Be safe as long as I can't see you frightened. So stand in the shadows, please. Please.
Number 9, Cristiano Berti and Peter Neal, Tenebrae.
Tenebrae is about human perversion and its effects on society. And I'd like to know how you see the effects of deviant behavior on our lives.
The influence of Dario Argento upon Italy's giallo cycle of stylish murder mysteries cannot be overstated. Argento's filmography also retains a number of memorable killers, from Martha Manganiello in Deep Red to Inspector Santini in Opera. Tenebrae from 1982 is even more bloodthirsty, while also containing double the killers.
Cristiano Berti, the TV critic, called Tenebrae a novel about aberrant behavior, human perversion. He was very weird about it.
It's the stalking and slashing of Cristiano Berti that pushes crime author Peter Neal over the edge in the film, resulting in a frenzy of blood. Tenebrae is a ridiculously stylish film, yet the motivations of repressed memories turn Neal's murder spree in the second half into the realm of the psychosexual.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
Number 8, Pearl Douglas, X franchise. Horror cinema received a new icon when Mia Goth's Pearl Douglas hit the screen in 2022's X.
I was a dancer in those early years. Then the war came, so not everything in life turns out how you expect.
That said, it was probably that film's narrative prequel, Pearl, that further fleshed out the obsessive motivations of this character. Life doesn't always turn out the way we think or want, and it's this realization that ultimately pushes a young Pearl past the brink of madness.
It's not about what I want anymore, Mitzi. It's about making the best of what I have.
Fast forward to the events of X, and the character has become murderously resentful of the life she wasn't allowed. The arrival of an adult film crew to her house only serves to underline Douglas's bitterness towards the younger generation's sexual freedom, reawakening the now old woman's murderous desires.
What the hell did you do that for? I don't need a nurse. Why should you get to have it all? What have you ever done?
Number 7, Billy Lumis and Stu Macka, Scream. Fans of this neoclassic horror franchise likely have their own personal favourite villain who's worn the cowl of Ghostface. That said, there's just something special about the original serial killers from 1996's Scream. The reveal of both Billy Lumis and Stu Macka as the villains wasn't the first time a slasher movie had multiple killers, but it did do a great job at reinvigorating this trope.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
No, Billy!
The meta-movie commentary of Scream also wasn't a totally original idea, with films such as 1991's There's Nothing Out There predating Kevin Williamson's script.
Well, let me tell you something. That creature out there is not reality.
So you're saying we're in a movie?
It's a distinct possibility.
That said, Lumis and Macka's realistic motivations and amoral glee helped cement Ghostface as a slasher baddie for the ages.
Surprise, Sydney.
Number 6, Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. Here's a question. Does it matter that the ending of American Psycho heavily implies that the murders committed by Patrick Bateman are all imaginary?
But that's simply not possible. And I don't find this funny anymore.
It never was supposed to be.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
We don't think so. At least not when it comes to the final execution of director Mary Harron's film adaptation of Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho. The slaying set pieces of the film more than lend American Psycho its well-deserved reputation as a cult classic.
Because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends, it's also a personal statement about the band itself. Hey, Paul!
Meanwhile, Bateman's profoundly troubled mind and disturbed psyche makes him an incredibly compelling antagonist. The character's final confused monologue, where Bateman admits that he wishes his pain to be inflicted upon others, is among 2000's horror's most iconic moments.
My pain is constant and sharp, and I do not hope for a better world for anyone. In fact, I want my pain to be inflicted on others.
Number 5. Henry and Otis. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Some true crime adaptations have been accused of glamorizing their subjects to the point where these antagonists become too sympathetic. This is thankfully not the case with the 1986's Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Did you really kill your mama?
What?
Did you really kill your mama?
I guess I did.
Director John McNaughton and co-screenwriter Richard Fire craft a narrative that remembers to frame its central characters of Henry and Otis in the worst possible light.
I'd like to kill somebody.
Must mean you go for a ride, Otis.
Leads Michael Rooker and Tom Towles base their performances upon the real-life serial murderers Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole. As a result, Henry is grimy and unrepentantly realistic in its nihilism.
Tell her you're sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Now tell her you won't do it again.
I won't. I swear, Becky, I swear I won't.
The 16mm film stock retains a graininess that adds to the gruesome behaviour at play, an air of discomfort that is omnipresent around the pair's crimes. Number 4. Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. The legend of Leatherface may loom large over the world of horror, but let's not forget that this member of the Sawyer family isn't a supernatural entity.
Stop! No! Please!
Nope, Leatherface is a man, and a horror icon whose creation was inspired by the crimes of another real-life killer, Ed Gein. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise has played around with Leatherface's origin stories over the years, sometimes portraying him in a more sympathetic light. This Sawyer sibling's mental disabilities often make it easy for the other family members to order him around, but make no mistake, Leatherface has committed more than his fair share of intentional killings.
2 investigating officers were fatally wounded that day. This is the only known image of Thomas Hewitt, the man they call Leatherface.
Number 3. John Kramer, aka Jigsaw. Saw franchise.
Hello, Amanda. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Just as the Scream franchise debuted a new horror icon, Ghostface, for the 90s, so too did Saw introduce John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, to fans in the early millennium. Tobin Bell brings with him a cunning malevolence as he portrays a serial killer with a penchant for elaborate traps.
Yes, I'm sick, officer.
Stop! Like, sausage easier!
Sick from the disease eating away at me inside. Sick of people who don't appreciate their blessings.
Jigsaw seeks to exploit the personal flaws and foibles of his victims, although his traps are not impossible to escape. That said, the endgame of Jigsaw's riddles is almost always at the expense of his victims, via their mutilation or demise. This killer seeks to uncover, in his words, the survival instinct that Jigsaw feels is missing, an appreciation for life at the doorstep of death.
The will to live. Until a person is faced with death, it's impossible to tell whether they have what it takes to survive.
Number 2. Norman Bates, Psycho franchise. It speaks volumes to the likability of Anthony Perkins that his character of Norman Bates is seen, by some at least, in a sympathetic light.
Of course, I've suggested it myself. But I hate to even think about it. She needs me.
The mental anguish and torment that drives Bates to murder is actually better fleshed out in the excellent and underrated Psycho sequels, where Perkins' inner conflict is truly allowed to shine. Psycho 2 and 3 showcase a Bates who vacillates between attempting to live a normal life, yet is always driven back to murder by the voice of Mother in his head.
They're gonna have you locked up forever.
But I'll be free.
I'll finally be free.
Furthermore, many of the murders in Psycho 2 aren't even committed by Bates, although the franchise always comes back around in displaying Perkins' unhinged attachment from reality.
Put me in my chair.
Yes, Mother.
Now, turn me to the window. I want to keep my eyes on you.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. John Ryder, The Hitcher. Rutger Hauer brings complete menace.
Bet I'm gonna squeeze mine.
Mick Taylor, Wolf Creek. Stalk and slash in the outback.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Jack, The House That Jack Built. A 12-year trip into hell.
That's an excellent number. Very good number indeed.
Billy, Black Christmas. Unseen, unknown, and still out there.
I'm going to kill you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal Lecter franchise.
This is really gonna hurt.
It doesn't really matter which excellent portrayal of Hannibal Lecter fans choose, they'll all provide an excellent look into a psychotic mind. This disgraced psychiatrist was first portrayed by Brian Cox in 1986's Manhunter, while Mads Mikkelsen popularised Lecter on the small screen with Hannibal.
You died in my kitchen, Alana. When you chose to be brave. Every moment since is borrowed.
For many, however, it's Sir Anthony Hopkins that provided horror fans with their definitive Hannibal, a sharply intelligent serial killer with a taste for human flesh.
Closer, please. Closer.
Hopkins plays Lecter as bloodthirsty but restrained, able to premeditate his crimes until the moment is right. This allows Hannibal Lecter to always retain an ace up his sleeve when it comes to escaping the law at every turn.
Where are you, Dr. Lecter?
I have no plans to call on you, Clarice. The world's more interesting with you in it. So you take care now to extend me the same courtesy.
Do you prefer mortal horror villains over supernatural enemies? Let us know in the comments.
You know something? You talk too much.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.